What's going on, y'all? It's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 66. If you are listening anywhere in this world, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts that you're listening to, we appreciate you for joining us this Sunday. Now, if you are watching us, most likely it will be on YouTube. And here's what I want you to do. If you have not done so already, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that subscribe button. And I also want you to hit that notification bell. So the next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling through that feed, you'll be able to see the newest episode of the Achromous Podcast. And most of all,
brand new flavor in your ear. It's new. It's new. Be able to do all those things, subscribe, to like, enjoy our content, be the first to get to it, and enjoy everything we're offering you each and every single week. And for our longtime viewers and listeners, you know, I love emphasizing the word free every single week to let you know Jay has a hard time dealing with that because there aren't many things free that we know of, especially here, you know, in our country. So we got to take good joy and just be sure to remind you each and every single week to do these things. So thank you guys. Please do it. We appreciate you for those who have done it. And please come on, join on the train and let's continue to enjoy this journey of growing with one another. And it's free to do so.
Amen to that. I don't believe that. I can't believe that we're giving these gems out without any sort of cost attached to it. But I hope you are. Here's what I hope you're doing. I hope you're taking notes, right? I hope you're listening to these gems. I hope you're writing them down. And then most of all, I hope you're taking action, because that is the only way you will see any sort of change in your life, any sort of growth. That is the only way. You have to take action. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to continue to grow, to evolve, to build, all of those great things. So as long as you're doing that, it doesn't matter how long it'll take. Eventually, you will get to where you want to be. We'll see what a week it has been, man. Another week gone. Another week is about to start. And look, I know last week we went over how it looked like to fight personal demons. And we used that Will Smith, that Jada Pinkett Smith, and that Chris Rock ordeal that happened. And the one takeaway I had going into this week is I want to say it's privacy, man, because look, we're all in different relationships, whether it's a loving relationship with a partner, friendships, whatever it is. I am a true believer of keeping all that between that circle, right? Keeping everything between that unit. If there's a issue between brothers or sisters, cousins, relatives, family, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, keep it within you. You don't have to go out there to get any type of information, to get different opinions, especially if it's something that has to do with both parties. I think it should stay there, because sometimes the information isn't necessarily public. People can't understand both sides. So when you go to some other party for advice, maybe you're not seeing something from the other side. I think starting internally, keeping a lot of these things private would help the longevity and the strength of your relationship.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you have to be very wary about whom you allow to be privy to all aspects of your life, because in truth, we're still trying to figure those things out for ourselves. So it's a really delicate line as you're constructing the perception of your reality, as I like to look at it. And even listening to, as I was telling you, been into this book, and I'm literally at the last chapter 19 right now, and I'm going through that. So I'm listening to where he's at with it, and the rehabilitation of where he's at from the sounds of it. And yeah, that's kind of a general consensus I picked up from this. It's just, as you're constructing the perception of your reality, to just be wary of those things, because work is constant. It's a constant in self-development, and even more so self-awareness. So as I'm growing to understand what that looks like, it's very important to know where the boundaries lie to what you can allow in as you're still trying to discover parts of you. So I think we had a great conversation with it last week. Subject I'm sure we'll touch on at some point in the future, again, in different aspects. But yeah, fighting your personal demons is something that is hard for a lot of people to do, because a lot of the times we lose sight and realizing that the biggest adversary we will ever face in our life is ourselves. That's bottom line. We face ourselves every day. So I don't have room in my life personally anymore for an enemy, because I'm my biggest concern. Only I will hinder myself from being where I choose to be. Absolutely. So, that's just kind of was a good reflection as to what all that was last week. So we hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you haven't had a chance to listen, stop this episode right now. Go back to episode 55 and work on your personal demons. Take some tips and some notes. Write it down, guys.
Absolutely. And like you said, we'll see. I mean, I think it's perfectly said that sometimes you do have to put yourself first. You have to put yourself in positions to win. And if you are in a relationship that is toxic, if you are dealing with that, you have to understand how to take a break from that, how to remove yourself from that toxic situation and understand exactly where you want to be, understand your purpose, understand your goals, your dreams. And if that's being hindered, then there's something internally that you have to fix, that you have to alter, that you have to improve on. So I think that was very well said. And like Will C said, episode 65, go back and get some of those gems, write it down. This is the reason why we're doing this for our community. We're spreading these gems based on our experiences, based on what we've seen, based on what we've been on, and based on some of the guests that we've had on the Achromous Podcast. And I think it goes without saying that healing is one of those big aspects when it comes to fighting those personal demons, right? I think if you are wounded in your life emotionally, you're emotionally scarred, you're carrying these burdens with you all the time. I think there's a time that you have to sit and understand it. It is time to choose to heal. And I'm glad we were able to get this guest on, because I think this is the perfect topic for us to jump into, especially from a woman's perspective. So I'm glad we're able to get her back on. If you aren't not familiar with her, if you did not see one of our older episodes when it came back to getting out there in the dating scene, let me update you a little bit. She is a faith activator. She is a dream interpreter. She's also a life and transition advisor. So at this time, we want to welcome and bring on none other than Lene Faith. Lene, welcome back to the Achromous Podcast.
Hey, you guys. What's up? Thank you for the introduction. I'm like, damn, yes, this is it. I love it. How has your life been?
Been blessed, been growing, as you know, episode 66. And first of all, we want to take the time to thank you. You initially, and still are, you were one of our biggest supporters coming into this. So we want to thank you for that. I remember the messages about the lights. If you guys were, this is her. She was the one that said, yo, y'all need to get lights. You guys need to get a microphone. You need to update yourself. So I said, okay, oh my God. Let's upgrade ourselves. Yeah. Let's get to the next level. It's all a part of growth. And Lee, we want to thank you for helping us out with that. I feel as though got a poster back here.
Yes, I know. I see the poster. I'm like, damn, I should have got you a little something. Put a little L back there, a little F. A little wall blank. Y'all ain't tell me y'all was kind of stunt. God,
look, hey, it's all about growth. It's all about getting better. It's all about improving. How have you been?
Yeah, I have been good. I have been doing a lot of stuff, which has been good. I'm not used to being as busy, but it's been a good busy. But so I just been cutting out a lot of stuff that I've been cutting out stuff that doesn't, have an investment attached to it. So yeah, but life has been very interesting. So yeah, it's been good, you guys. It's good to see you guys.
That's awesome. No, we're glad to have you back on. And I know when we were going into a topic like this, we were like, yeah, we have to get Lene back on. I know the very first time when we were able to introduce you to our community and we were introduced into your, it was much more, getting back out there, understanding what the world is looking like in terms of dating and relationship. And
right.
Of course, we've all grown since then. So, I really want to dive in to understand exactly what, when it comes to healing, and it's such a broad topic, so I'm trying to understand how to dive into this. But when it comes to understanding how to choose to heal, right, to take that next step and say, there is something definitely wrong with me, right? Maybe I'm alienating friends. Maybe I'm turning a lot of people off from the vibes that I'm giving out because there's something deep inside of me that I have not been able to unlock, and it's preventing myself from building these long-lasting, loving relationships with other people. So I really wanted to take it, turn it over to you. allow you to really help us dive into this topic when it comes to healing, when it comes to understanding how much of an importance faith is in all of this as well.
Jesus, that was a lot, Jamal. Like, you ain't tell me it's gonna be a lot like that. You know what I'm saying? So
in pieces, just wanted to
No,
No,
where's the
real,
appetizer?
seriously.
So what
So, like,
does
I
healing
mean,
look
my
like?
expertise or whatever. No, but I feel like healing is so broad, like you said. And I feel like in my healing journey, and I feel like I'm still on my healing journey, is that I had to learn what I was an expert in and what I was able to assist my family or my friends with. And if I couldn't, like a good therapist, they will refer out to say, you know, or a doctor, hey, I don't specialize in this, but I do know of Jamal and I do know of Will, and they have more experience in this area, so that I feel like that's needed so that you can not overwhelm yourself in attaching yourself to someone where your expertise is not going to be any good or like useful for them in the beginning stages of their healing process. And so I feel like, of course, we all know you have to first admit that there's an issue or you feel like there's a sense of healing. But for me, I'm a little I'm a little straightforward, just a little bit, a little direct, just a little bit. And so so I'll tell the person that I may be in communication with, like, hey, this is what I see. And I hope that you know that as your friend, that I'm saying this out of a place of love. And I just had to do this this morning, and in the means of what you're saying, like how it connects to faith. So I do interpret dreams. And so I have a lot of dreams about people. And sometimes I have to have those hard conversations. And most of the time, I do not know what's going on in their life. It's just something that I feel like God is downloading because they are ignoring what God is trying to say to them. And so I go to them and I just tell them, like, you know, I do start off with like, the Lord love you. And then I like throw in the bomb, like boom. And then he said to let this go too. Exactly, grenade. And so I feel like with my faith, it has been prayer, and it has been attaching those who have like mind, like myself, I guess, to my purpose and to help me through my healing process in different stages. So, I mean, I don't know. It's so broad, that the healing piece, it's a broad piece. It just depends. It depends on what you're going through. But I feel like the first step is vulnerability. It's to be vulnerable with someone else, whether you know them or you don't know them, to allow truth to be spoken to you, regardless of who it's coming from.
Do you think humility plays a role in that as well? Because I know, especially, let's say somebody's they've got an ego the size of Asia or something, right? And sometimes they are not able to look inside themselves and say, okay, if there's a pattern that I'm seeing that I keep getting involved in, whether it's relationships or, getting laid off at jobs or whatever it is, if there's a pattern that they're seeing based on some sort of traumatic experience that they've gone through in the past, how are they able to look past that and become humble? Is there a situation that occurs where is this instant turnaround for them, or is this just something that they have to have vision for as they're continuing to go? It could be just part of growth.
Yeah, I don't think that you have to have a vision for healing. I actually think that you walk into healing blinded. I feel like you kind of just walk into it and you don't know actually, because if you knew that you were walking to a place of healing, you wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go, right? You
wouldn't go at all. I mean, Will can talk about that. You can talk about that. Like, healing, it ain't pretty. Like, we ain't talking, there's some self-evaluations that have to happen. There's some loss, some grief. I mean, you going up and down like a roller coaster. So I feel like you walk into healing blindly. And what I do tell people sometimes, like those who have the big egos are like, oh, I got it, it ain't nothing, like, or they placing the blame on somebody else or something. I was like, I just tell them, like, you're in a pit. This is rock bottom for you. You got snakes in the pit, and then you have a ladder. The choice is yours. And so it's just a matter of them accepting the ladder or the snakes. Either way, you're going to have to do some work. You're going to fight with them snakes, and you're going to have to work to, climb up that ladder. So either way, but which one is safest? Which one can you guarantee that is no longer in a dark place? You can guarantee that if you go up off that ladder that's in a pit, that you're going to a place of light. So, I mean, that's what I try to tell people. And I mean, they do eventually spin the block, but I mean, they got to be willing to spin the block.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of being willing to, I guess, allow yourself, like you said, to be vulnerable, but recognizing that you must be vulnerable with yourself first, so that you can ultimately be able to be accountable in areas you need to work on for growth. Right. Because sometimes I think for me, I think the hardest thing that I've come into truths with myself is the ability to recognize the areas of accountability and to be in the sense of awareness, and then the actions that must be taken. Right. Like if I'm aware of something that I can be better at for myself, that's ultimately going to benefit those around me that love me and care about me first. That power of choice is something that's just, man, it's something else, because you ultimately choose where you want to be and where you want to go. Now, like you said, the path of how to get there is up for grabs, because you can go the path of the snakes, which I think you put beautifully, or the ladder is there, but you have to be willing to take the steps necessary to get to either path. In most cases, like you said, where like the sense of healing and like going through that process is usually a rigorous one, because it isn't easy, because it is painful. It's emotionally draining, it's taxing, it's the hardest thing that you'll repeat in your life. Growing pains, we all go through it, and we all build up a tolerance to how much of it we could withstand at one time, as I'm learning. Where it's like, okay, well, there's just certain things I got to prepare myself enough that I can for. Some things are just gonna hit me full on and I don't have time. But my emotional depth is what is important to hold on to through the process, because again, like, we are our biggest adversary. So there are times that I can be angry, point fingers at others for my shortcomings or parts of my life that I feel should be better at this point, but ultimately it's on me. So I do think, like, you really got to take that part to what Lene was saying, guys, the heart about recognizing when you do have paths laid before you, and just take the accountability so that you can start making progress. Because the worst thing to do is to see them and just still be stagnant, just be there, because it's a life that you're wasting. You're just wasting time, and time is a luxury we can't afford to waste.
And the whole picture of the snakes and the ladder is this: is that even though that's your choice, it's that if you stay in the pit with the snakes, they are going to bite you. So by the time that you get ready to go to the ladder, depending on how many snakes have bitten you will depend on how fast, or how fast you can go up the ladder because of the venom. And we all can attest to, like, certain relationships, certain friendships, if it has felt like a venom. And the longer you stay in it, the longer you have to recover. I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, so I tell people, like, you can stay here with the snakes, but I'm telling you, that ladder climb gonna be hell. So yeah.
I think the other side of that too, for some people, they know how the snakes would feel. Like, right, you know exactly how it feels to get bitten over and over again. You get used to it. So it's almost as though the unknown comes with climbing that ladder. You don't know what the next rung will bring. You don't know how high you're going to keep going. Sometimes you can't see the end of that ladder. So I think a lot of people, before diving into understanding what it means to them to heal, if I keep climbing, I ain't going to be able to get back down there with the snakes. I'm comfortable with where I used to be. And people, I could see why that might be terrifying, because they got so used to to living a certain way based on an experience they've been through,
Right.
hard to change, knowing that this change might be something that's permanent.
Yeah.
So some folks are just emotionally stunted, like where
Right.
they just stop growing. You know, like we grow as people, but like I as I've come to learn, like that is a bigger plague in our society that's not spoken on nearly enough, like with enough depth, because that's the sense of the part of the development that we see a lot of trauma. Trauma is the cause of it, obviously, but
Exactly.
it's emotion. People are emotionally stunted, and it's a thing where sometimes they're capable to observe another person's trauma or like pain and can understand it, but they don't feel it because of the venom, because they've taken on so much of it that they can't separate like that part and being able to truly like embrace another and just kind of empathize with them in a process of like seeing it from their shoes.
Right.
Because some people are one track that this is just what it is, regardless of what I see, and perception is reality, and it could be real, but this has to be this way for me to function, because this is how I function in life. And those people I would say would probably have the hardest times adjusting, where I'm guilty of that at some point in my life, of like not recognizing it. But when I did, with certain parts of me, because we all have parts that we do hope to be better in, like but again, when you recognize it, that's when
not me, you know what I mean, close to perfect, but I understand what you're saying.
Person.
Yeah, understand.
The one exception.
The one exception,
the
guys.
one exception. I mean,
is that a 1%?
You know what I mean?
The one of the 1%.
So Lene is the standard, guys, of like what it looks like, right? But to have it right. Oh man, guys, but listen, no,
I'm so
like, sorry. You good, man. Like, but guys, like, yeah, like if you feel like, and I mean, it's a scary thing to say, because as an empath at heart, I understand now more than ever. I have to put boundaries up because I can overexert my emotions, my energy for people, and I genuinely feel drained, and I lose and here's the thing, I feel like how actors and actresses are, like I feel like I lose myself in people, because I can have the tendencies, I can overexert my emotions, and I can overcompensate again for the traumatic parts of my life of feeling like I'm not enough and I give too much of me. So like I think it's scary, because like you try to like find a pitch, the right tune of yourself.
Yeah.
You're on the right frequency at all times.
Right.
But like as you said, Lene, everyone has highs and lows, and you kind of like learn as you grow through it. But you have to be, I guess, willing to go through it. So I think the ability to recognize these things in essence and to take action is healing in itself, because healing is a constant, you know, because it's not something you're never going to get to a point and be like, hey guys, guess what? I arrived. I'm healed.
I'm healed.
Yeah, I need nothing else.
Absolutely flawless, right?
The one of the 1%.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot who I was talking.
Wish I could really help you guys out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Lene, as a life and transitional advisor, for someone who is going through, well, not even going through, but wanting so desperately to get started, how would you approach something as delicate as healing? Let's use the example as maybe like childhood trauma. I know a lot of them have been through some. So if you're able to tell the signs and see the signs and understand the patterns based on what you're hearing from a client, what is your first move to allow them to feel comfortable to take the next step?
So I have done some work with my own personal childhood trauma. And when I look back over my life, no, for real, but seriously, when I look back over my life and I think about the steps, I had to allow myself to be the person that I died at. And what I mean by that is the person where I think Will had mentioned it as far as sometimes emotionally being stunted. And I feel like because of childhood trauma, when certain things happen, whether it's physical or sexual abuse, there are things now I'm 35, and there are things now that I do that would be, I guess, attached to a person or a child who was 5 years old. Let me explain. So when I was a little girl, birthdays were very important to me, but I grew up in foster care. And so a lot of my birthdays were not celebrated. And I didn't know that that was a trauma place inside of me until I think I was like maybe 25, or I don't know, somewhere around there, like 23, 25. And so around my birthday, I would get really sad, and I would always want to have a party, but I was like, nobody will come. Like nobody will come. Now I have friends, but I'm like, nobody's going to come. They're not going to show up because of that little girl that never had that party where people showed up at. And so I decided that I was going to heal that piece. And so that's what I would tell people, is like, to write out, like you feel that there's a rise that happens in your body. There's this hurt, when you begin to cry, it feels like your body turns into a steel pipe, like your throat turns into a steel pipe. You may have some anxiety or something, or some type of pain. You may get a headache, or whatever the case may be. To be mindful of the emotions that you feel, to acknowledge them, to say that they are real, and then to heal that piece of you. So if it was that party, throw yourself a party and invite your friends. And I saw little by little that so now when my birthday comes, that I don't have that same emotion, because that 5-year-old girl, that little Lene, she is now healed with being neglected from birthdays. And so I go on to the next thing. So baby steps, little small ones. And I just say, start with the one that is not as, now you can't go in there and be like, I'm gonna tackle this big giant. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't experience sexual abuse your whole life, and now you want to come in here. You can start small, like little teddy bear. Your brother used to eat your Barbies. I don't know. Start small. Don't go in there trying to attack something big, because what happens is it'll be like a snowball effect. And sometimes when you have the snowball effect, you can't catch up with yourself, and then that leads to severe depression, anxiety, isolation, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I would say tackle the small stuff. The childlike stuff, because it's so innocent and it's so sweet, and who you are as a child. I mean, you just see things differently as a child. Like, we used to think we could be anybody. Yeah. And so I feel like when you tackle those small hurts as a child, even though they're big hurts now as an adult, who that person was when you were younger, who you were younger, doesn't have the same impact, because you didn't have enough experience to have that view. So you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now we're older, so we like, this happened when I was 5, this happened when I was 10. But if you healing something from a 5-year-old perspective, you have no, you know what I'm saying, history of anything. You're just healing that one little piece. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Sounds, yeah. Okay. That's all right on the money. That's right on the money. I think, like, going back to get that part of you. It's like, fixing and healing and mending that part of you is like to prepare you with tools for now. As like you said, as an adult, to address ultimately those bigger parts of your life that there's just always seems to be question marks there. Right. A lot of it is related in unknown. Right. Where exactly. I mean, we've had conversations, all of us, and Lene, I've had conversations with you about parts and worked through and learned parts about myself that I just didn't realize that I needed to face. Yeah. And it was ugly parts to face. And I still face these parts right today. Yeah. But I think in healing, you ultimately have to get to a place of being comfortable with being uncomfortable in facing fear. Right. Because Gosh, man, right now, like that's the biggest thing in my life where I'm addressing and healing these things, but fears will like is a constant as well, that you're like, oh man, you're there. You're here again today.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Okay.
Right. Ghetto. The whole ghetto.
What is you up to now? What type of thoughts you have me contemplating today? So it's
Yeah.
like a lot of it isn't physical manifestation of like what we're dealing with right now. It's all from the emotional, spiritual, that psychological part of past transgressions of life and experiences that it affects us in our day to day. And I try to be mindful of that. And I think you put it wonderfully, of like addressing those building up the strength,
Yeah.
assessing it like like I don't know, maybe a plumber or someone with like you're building as a technician, you're building the skills that you need, hindsight of going through your past of addressing those things so that you are more adequate to handle whatever you're faced with today. Like maybe like now, if you have a party in that regard, you would be more equipped to handle the emotional aspects of like how you would go about it, or maybe speak to someone if you felt a certain kind of way or not valued or appreciated, where you can address these things in a way where you weren't privy to be able to do so at that point in time in your
Right.
life. And I think that's a big part of like the growth and the win and the many milestones that happen where you can
Right.
see it now because you're doing the work. Because in essence, a lot of times we aren't completely healed from those things, but we learn how to manage ourselves
Right.
with the emotional maturity of like being willing to grow, because we desire to just be better, to feel better. We
Yeah.
want to feel better about life and about ourselves, about our shortcomings, about the things that we maybe once considered a mistake, which was really just life lessons. And to get to a point where you can handle life events better and even be blessed enough to share that experience with others and help them heal is a gift, because not
Yeah.
everyone has that ability, or utilize it in the right way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I say something right quick about the fear? I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
So Boo Boo, look, right. I was reading the Bible, whatever, and I was reading the book of Nehemiah. That's also one of my son's name.
Shout out, Neo.
Slight flat. No, I'm playing. I'm playing, y'all. But I was reading, right? And so Nehemiah was building a temple. And so there was a whole rack of people that was coming around him, and they was like, rah, 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 six, that's in the third. You don't need to be building this temple. This, this person is going to come and tell you to stop building and this and that. And so one of Nehemiah's friends was like, are you not going to address them? Are you not going to say anything? And he was like, if I address them, then that will give them power over me, because their intentions is for me to stop building. And he said, I build the temple with one hand, and then I warfare in the other hand. And so in this season, I feel like of my healing, and I feel like in anybody's season of healing, when fear comes, those community of people, that's a representation of fear. When fear comes, there needs to be this standpoint or something in your mind to say that I'm going to build and I'm going to war, but I'm not going to stop. And I feel like when fear comes, we stop. We try to give attention to fear. We like, you know what I'm saying? No, you didn't say that. Oh, I know you ain't do this. We give too much attention to fear, which is a normal response. But I feel like it takes away from our growth and our pursuit of healing, because sometimes in some seasons, it is just not, you just don't have any space to give attention to fear, period. Like you just don't. Like I know people are, oh, that's hard. That's easier said than done. Listen, I'm like, you have to think about it as like an emergency situation. Like, think about it like your children. Regardless of how you feel, you're going to do your best to protect your children. You need to do your best to protect yourself. And so you need to war, and you need to work, and you need to mind your daggone business. And they going to be there. They still going to be there. When you fear, it's still going to be there. Whether you build it, whether you stop, it's still going to be there. So you might as well just keep building. That's in the book of Nehemiah. You can thank my son for writing it or whatever.
Go ahead, Neo.
He didn't
I
write.
agree with all that.
Oh man, may I add on to that just really quick? Just 'cause
Yeah.
so what I've been working on assessing in myself lately is like along the lines of what you said. Like I've been telling myself, like, a picture it from a perspective of like, okay, a person who may say something to me in another language that I'm unfamiliar with, and how I may perceive what they're saying has no effect on me if I don't understand what they're saying. I can assume what I may feel based on their gestures and body language, but essentially in most cases people laugh off in those instances because you don't know, so I don't give it power. Now, I've been taking that same thought and I've been trying to channel it in from myself, because again, our biggest adversary is ourselves. So if I'm like, man, how am I going to make ends meet with this? And what am I going to do about this situation tomorrow? Like, what if this happens to me and I fail? Because that's my fear. I fail. Then I ask myself, okay, where you are now? You're here now.
Yes.
So why are you giving power to things that is beyond your control that hasn't even happened? It's because of the trauma of your past.
Exactly.
So you have to let that be what it was, so you can accept where you are today, and you can let go of what your vision of tomorrow is, because it hasn't happened, and you can build in your now. So that's what I've been, if I can put that all together, something from what you said, it's just dope to hear, because it's like, that's kind of what I've been using in my tools of healing other parts of myself. And I realized that, honestly, real talk, guys, I realized that recently. Like, sometimes people think you have it all put together, but like, you're still learning. And I legitimately, like last month, I just realized that. And I was like, oh man, I've been stressing about this, but why?
But why though?
Shout out to Will's book as well, because in listening to this, that and like reading and listening to the audio, that's helped significantly with me addressing certain things, because it's eerily similar personally for me in a lot of different ways and areas and times of my life that seems to be synchronized with this person's life stories. So it just helped me to reflect on, Will, it's cool, you good. So you got to just arm yourself, like Lene said, with those many milestone victories of like self-awareness and healing and development, so that you can get back to keeping things simplistic. Because sometimes I guess like we if you're over, especially if you're overthinker, like I tend to be, it could be detriment for you at times. So it's like, I think the story of what you shared, with Nehemiah is awesome to hear, because it is true. It is true. So don't give power unwarranted where it doesn't need to be, because you ultimately control you. And that's the beautiful gift of life that we have, is the choice, power of choice.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. Them hoes gonna be there. I mean, them people gonna be there.
Well, we're another.
No, that is absolutely true. Both of which you guys said, living in the present, understanding what that looks like, not letting fear cripple you. I mean, look, it was during COVID that I thought that it wasn't necessarily fear, but I broke my leg, right? And I fractured my tibia in my left knee. I sprained my ACL and MCL pretty bad. And when it happened, I felt like my life outside of, anything working out or football related, I thought that was all done. I thought it was all over. And it's something that I love to do. If you know me, I love working out, I love sports, I love being active. So I thought that if this leg did not heal correctly, if it didn't heal at all, so to speak, I would never have that again. And the same thing you were saying, Will, see, it's like, I felt like I had to try to depend on myself every single day, but just a day at a time, right? The first day was me in bed. I had the cast on me, couldn't move my leg at all. I had to slowly migrate down the stairs just to make some egg whites for myself, right? Had to go up the stairs, do the same thing. And then the next day, it was just a little bit better. The following day, I'm walking now. I can step, I can bend a knee a little bit more. Okay, now I can do some shadow boxing, right? Okay, 3 weeks, I don't even need that anymore. I can move around a little bit more. I'm starting to build confidence. But then it came to a point when I actually had to start putting pressure on it. when I actually had to start trying to lift again, when I had to go through physical therapy. It's like, I don't know. I remember the pain that I got when I broke my leg. I don't want to feel that again. I remember where I was when I started to heal. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to go through staying in bed all day. I don't want to go through the box jumps and all these different movements. But then I told myself, why am I worrying about things that have not happened? Look what I'm doing already.
Right.
Look where,
Exactly.
look where I've come. Look where I am now. And to actually be able to go back to the gym, to be able to continue to squat around 5, I never thought that I would do that again. And
Yeah.
I truly think it is.
Come on, Mo.
Hey.
Hey.
I think that it is huge to understand that you can face fear every single day. You just take it a day at a time. You take it a day at a time. You do not let it overpower you, and eventually you
Exactly.
trying to go. So I think those words are powerful, both Lene and We'll See, and I appreciate you both for sharing those stories.
Yeah. Always, man. Healing ugly now.
Huh.
Wow, that thing real ugly. I mean,
Genuine healing.
Say that again.
Genuine healing, guys.
Genuine.
You see it faked out there. You see it
Right.
faked out there.
That
a lot
is
of
true.
times.
That is
Boy,
true.
the Saints ain't healing.
No, they not. They watching. Some watching.
They're watching, but the Saints
are.
ain't healing. I'll be like, I don't know about that.
Mm.
Like, you know how I don't know. It's like, even though you can go to the same event, but have different experiences, but everybody's on topic about what the speaker was actually speaking about. What I feel like with some of these self-healing gurus is like, I'm like, I was in that event. I ain't hear nobody say nothing like that while I was there. Everybody's experience is different. I'm not coming against anybody else's experience, but some of the stuff that people are saying, I'm like, that's toxic. You know what I'm saying? That's a place of isolation. You know, I'm like, what? This whole thing with alpha males and alpha females and the women against the men. I'm like, y'all, that's toxic.
Yeah.
It was not created for us to be against each other. And I mean, that's what I feel like this whole social media thing is. It's like, who is greater than who? Listen, we can go to the Bible if you want, but not today.
Hey.
But I'm just saying, who's greater than who? Everybody trying to sit next to God. Like, he don't need no armor bearer. He don't need no help. Like, God, dog. Everybody like, who's greater than who? Achromous Podcast ain't greater than nobody else. And the next podcast ain't great. Everybody is, you know what I'm saying? We at the same event of life.
Very true.
That's absolutely
We can
right.
all be in the building, like, you know, Achromous has this popping off on Sunday, has this on Monday, but then Tuesday and Wednesday, you might need another one. And stop like hating and, you know, just, I don't know.
I agree.
You're absolutely right. I know. Yeah, I mean, it is. Look, we were talking before this about how exhausting it is. Like, in order to help something like that rise to the top, where you're giving actionable advice, it's honest. You know what I'm saying? It's based on experience. It's tough for stuff to rise. A lot of people love. A lot of people love toxicity.
It's a crab pot mentality too.
That's exactly right.
Some people intentionally love to just kind of not see flourish if it's not beneficial to them. They feel like it's not beneficial to them. Like they have nothing to gain from it. But it's a matter of perspectives, right? Usually a lot of the times it's something that's going on with the individual. Traumatic usually. I mean, I know it's
traumatic,
but it's true. So we say that to like say, you know, for everyone out there, thank you for supporting us. I think that goes without saying. Thank you for being a part of this journey whenever you decided to enter, and just still being along the ride, and just you know, what we strive to do truly is self-development and to give growth because of life experiences. And again, I guess ultimately all three of us here to win against our fear today. So
exactly.
You know, thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we couldn't do it without people like Lene Faith. We couldn't do it without the support that we continue to get. It, you know, it's a rough road to heal. I mean, each and every week, these topics that we talk about, we implement in our own lives as well, right? Similar to what people should be doing if you're reading the Bible or you're reading something like that. You're taking those experiences and you're applying it to your life. That's where it work. That's where you see it happen. So I think that's very powerful, you know?
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely powerful.
it is powerful to actually apply it.
Yeah, yep, it is. That's where it happens. And look, Lena, first of all, we want to thank you for jumping on with us for the Achromous podcast, but we want to find out what's going on with you next.
Child, listen here. So in the beginning, y'all heard Achromous say that they giving stuff away for free. I'm not. Praise God. Y'all better take advantage of it because no, I'm serious. Now listen. Seriously. Now listen up here, people. Y'all sit around here and you know what I'm saying, dilly-dally, take your time. Oh, you know what I'm saying? This is some real basic people. You know what I'm saying? You get comfortable with Jamal. You get comfortable with Will C. You get comfortable with the Achromous podcast, but there will come a time where they will have to begin to charge. And so take advantage of what they are offering. Free advice, bringing in people who are already doing the work. You know what I'm saying? They're already, you know, they doing the work as far as healing. They're doing the promotion. They're doing the business aspect of things. So, you know, take advantage of that because I'm telling you, listen, go ahead and sleep. Go ahead. That's fine. Take a little nap, get up. And by the time you get up, it's going to be a charge. And so, because, you know, they have families, they have to pay, you know, take care of, they got bills that they have to pay. And guess what? Will says it and they're damn worth it. So I'm telling people like, you know what I'm saying? You know, take advantage of what they're offering that's for free. I'm talking about myself as well because for 10 years, I did dream interpretations for free. I no longer do dream interpretations for free. And the reason why I don't is because the people who pay, they are willing to invest and they are willing to apply what I am saying of my expertise, but also too of their expertise, because I feel like you have to be an expert in your own healing as well, right? So it's a partnership. This is not me governing over anybody. And so, you know what I'm saying? Doing the dream interpretations, I'm working on a book because I'm going to start traveling to teach other people how to interpret their dreams. And so I'm definitely going to need a book because, honey, ain't nobody going to be saying that 6,000 times over and over. Okay. I got some oil that I'm making now. So it's going to be like a dream oil and a prayer oil. Okay. Now that is going to be free. The first round is going to be free. Then it's going to be a charge because I want to see like, I mean, it's not no potion or nothing like that, but I just want to see like people's responses of like, you know, the reviews. Does it smell good? You know, does it irritate the skin? Somebody got to do it. I ain't got no bunny, so somebody got to do it. You know what I mean? So
hey, we'd love to test it here on your Achromous podcast. We'd love to.
So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna send it out to my friends and you know, see what they think about it. I am talking to someone about doing a show called Lene Finds Love. Child, and might need to bring a shovel because hell, we might got to dig for it. I mean, it's rough out here. My God is but it's going to be like a round table setup. We're still trying to figure out how it's going to look because not everybody's going to want to be recorded for the date. And so kind of like this I don't know, this round table type of feedback after the date or stuff like, what could you have done differently? What did you see in yourself? Blah, 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 blah. So we're still trying to figure that out. I did get a call yesterday that I'm doing a video, kind of like the one similar to Truly's.
Yeah.
And it's going to be solely on dream interpretation and everything like that. So that's going to be really good for my book. So I need to finish it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Anybody can help me finish writing it. So there's that. And so yeah, it's 3 million views right now with the Dating Differently. I've been able to talk to people from all over the world, places in Africa I didn't even know existed. I'm like, where you at? They like in the jungle or something. I'm like, girl, where you get service at? Let's just start there. That's even more important. My God. So I mean, Alaska, Antarctica, freaking Japan, China, Bangladesh, different places, and it's been really dope just to talk with people and push them into their purpose and interpret their dreams and get invites to different places. I ain't going because human sex trafficking at an all-time high, but
it is. Noted, guys.
Stay safe out there. Stay
you
safe.
know what I'm saying? So I ain't going certain places, but I appreciate the invites and stuff. And it's been good.
Hey, side note, I see you got some merch on. We're gonna talk about that too.
Oh yeah, I got my shirt on. No longer breach.
Hey.
No longer
So
breathe.
it comes in white and green.
Okay.
Green is extra, but it comes in white and green. But I'm actually going to give. Actually, you guys. Oh, you need to cut this. What's your name, Jamal? You need to put this up there so I can put it in my reel. So I'm going to buy a Achromous hoodie, and I'm giving away one of my shirts for free. For whoever like, share, and all that great stuff of this episode, number 66, because I'm like that. And no, but you guys have been working really hard, and I have not been able to see all the episodes, but I praise you guys and your consistency, and I just encourage everybody to let God be your PR. There's nobody greater that can be your PR. Period. Like, there's nobody greater. This social media thing is just a little ghetto, but I just put you in different places with different people, and you don't have to do all that shaking of your ass and throwing half naked and throwing it in the surface.
Don't need to do that, y'all.
So y'all, I'm proud of y'all. Get my shirt, but whoever wins or whatever, they can choose the color, and I'll it's on Lene Faith. It's called Unbreached Ministries, helping people to get unbreached and pushed into their purposes. Bow.
There you go.
There you go.
As you can see, Lene she's a world traveler, a world healer. She's doing big things.
Big things.
Big things.
I love that you guys are world healer. I like that. That's nice.
World healer. Hey, let me tell you, this world needs a lot of healing right now.
Yeah.
Going through a lot. We were going through a lot.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people out there looking for you. And speaking of those people, where exactly can they find you? How can they find you online?
So don't find me. No. I gotta stop playing. This is why I play so much. So listen, you can find me on Instagram, Lene, Lene on Faith. That's Instagram. Then it's my website, lenefaith.org, and you can find me there as well. And that's it. Just hit me up, send me a message. You got some dreams, send me a dream. I'll get back to you. It's different now, because see, before it was like, 2 people, 3 people a week. Now I got like 5 people a day.
Wow.
So it's a little, that's why, you know what I'm saying? God is good. Like, God be a PR.
Hey, yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, and y'all will owe me money. So there's that.
Side note, we have this ongoing thing.
I saw people go like this. It's always
working
people that owe you money go like
God's
this.
got me.
I'll be working for Lene at some point, man.
God's got me.
Got you. God's got me.
I feel like that's not a part of healing. You see, look at this. Y'all see this? Anytime y'all see somebody go like this, they owe you money. That's what they owe you. Oh, I see you with your little job. They owe you money. I'm telling you.
Yo, you too much. Hey, look, Lene, this was a fantastic conversation. It's been a while since we really got to really laugh on some of these episodes and dive deep into a topic like this. So, gotta say, we really appreciate you coming on to this Achromous Podcast episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
Tons of fun.
Absolutely.
So, hey, side note, Jay, since Lene was so kind enough to just kind of let everyone know about how merchandise can be purchased, and this is something that we are hoping that people will be willing to do that support us as well. How can they find our merch, Jay? We tell them every week, but let's remind to the new.
We do, and it's strange because for those who have come on here for the very first time and you're a part of this episode, I mean, this is a really great episode 66 here. We want to thank you for joining the Achromous Podcast and taking the time out this Sunday to watch.
Yeah.
if you've been here before and you still do not know what we're about, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do you one favor and I'm gonna spell it out for you. Achromous. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us literally anywhere that you can hear a podcast. You can find our merch in the achromoussstore.com. If you are watching this, it means that you're probably looking at it on YouTube. And here's what I want you to do. If you didn't do this at the beginning of the video, make sure you do it now.
Exactly.
I want you to hit that subscribe button. And I want you to hit that notification bell so the next time, which is this time, you see the Achromous Podcast on your feed and you see this lovely Miss Lene here, what you will do is you'll be able to watch the full video. And most of all,
for this particular moment, it is free to do so.
It's free at this particular moment. Now, okay, now watch now. Okay. I want to hit that one. It's like $5.99. Don't say nothing.
You hear me? So yeah, we're gonna keep it simple, guys. It's just like that. It's free to do so. So enjoy this. Enjoy this gem. There's so many gems you got today.
Yep.
You gotta agree. So many gems. So please make sure you like the content, subscribe it, smash that like button, share it, pass it along to folks that you feel that's on the road to self-discovery, self-development, willing to grow, to do the work that you're trying to do for you. Because again, each one heal one. So let's work together, man. Let's make this world truly a better place.
Absolutely. And look, and when it all comes down to habits, right? It all comes down to the habits that we end up building, the goals that we end up setting. Next week, Lene, I'd love for you to tune into the Achromous Podcast next week. When we do dive into what our worst habits are and how we are working.
Woo!
That's gonna be fun.
I'm so glad the Saints didn't invite me to that. Okay, that's gonna be so good. I'm so proud of y'all.
It's gonna be a fire one. This episode was a fire one. Lene, we thank you once again for joining us, and we hope everybody out there in the Achromous community and Lene's community enjoyed this amazing, groundbreaking episode. And until next Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy J.H. Gibbons.
And we'll see.
And I'm Lene. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Peace.